Hello, hello, and welcome to episode 145 of the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast. I'm Christine.
And I'm Sam.
We have a big show for you today.
Big show. Very big show.
Lots to talk about. So let's dive.
Let's do it.
Let's dive in. Let's talk about our trip to Cleveland.
Sure. So on Friday, we headed out to Cleveland for the Cleveland VegFest.
Festivus.
That's right. Festivus, Cleveland VegFest 2024. Now, this is the first time that the Cleveland VegFest has been up and running since the pandemic.
Yeah.
Yes, and it made a remarkable return. It was absolutely fantastic.
Oh, I totally agree. This is a whole new group of people that organized it. And I think they did a fantastic job. It took place at the Huntington Convention Center, which is a very large space.
This place is huge.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know that I've ever been in a convention center quite so large.
Yeah, it's very large.
Yeah.
Very large.
Crazy.
And well, let's just start at the beginning when we got there.
Sure. So Friday night, we got to our hotel and we decided, because it was very, very hot out. I'm sure in many parts of the country and even the world right now, we're going through an interesting heat wave.
Yeah.
Or have been for the last week or so.
Yeah, it was like 90 something.
Exactly. And so we decided we didn't really want to go out and scour the city for a vegan restaurant.
No.
And so instead we decided to DoorDash.
We did.
And we ended up DoorDashing from Foodhisattva.
Foodhisattva.
And one, I love the name.
Yes.
Absolutely brilliant.
Yes.
Yes. And two, the food, which is kind of a Korean fusion.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Is phenomenal.
Really good food. Really
Yes.
good. 100% vegan. And,
Yes.
you know, we're trying to make a point of when we go places supporting the 100% vegan places.
As much as possible.
Yeah. So that first night, what did we get at Foodhisattva?
Well, you got the Korean Reuben.
I did. Oh my God. Let me tell you, I love a Reuben. If I see a Reuben on a menu, chances are I'm going to get it. This was the Korean Reuben, and the difference was it was a bulgogi seitan, sliced thin and piled thick. Mm-hmm. And then instead of typical sauerkraut or maybe slaw, in some cases, they use kimchi.
Yep. That makes sense.
A spicy kimchi. It was out of this world.
Nice.
It was a nice combination.
Very nice.
Yeah, never had anything like it before.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good.
Now, as with Christine, there was something on the menu that I will generally go for if they are available, and that was cauliflower tacos.
Right.
I love me some cauliflower tacos.
You do.
Now, these in particular were called the Bangkok tacos. And so these were curried cauliflower bites in small tortillas, in taco-sized tortillas, with slaw and peanuts and a beautiful sauce and some bean sprouts and all kinds of wonderful veg. They were fantastic.
She wouldn't even let me taste them.
I wouldn't.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't ask, but I'm like, would you like to taste my Reuben? And she said,
Nope.
No, and I'm not willing to share my tacos.
That's right. No, I don't want a bite of your sandwich, and I'm sticking with my tacos. Yes, I'm very happy with my tacos.
Okay.
Yeah. So they were absolutely outstanding. And as an appetizer for that meal, we also got the traditional chive dumplings.
Yeah. Those were good. The dumpling wrappers were a little on the tough side.
I agree.
Not sure if that's just because we DoorDashed them, or, you know, and if we had gotten them fresh, although the DoorDash didn't take very long at all.
It didn't. I actually think that they were slightly undercooked.
You think so?
Just a hair.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
They were a little on the tough side, but the filling
Oh, the filling was amazing.
was superb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Filling was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And I also got what they called a sensei's salad. So this was greens and broccoli and roasted Brussels sprouts and edamame and bean sprouts and some grilled tofu on a little bed of greens. And it was absolutely wonderful. With a carrot ginger dressing. And carrot ginger is my favorite salad dressing by far. So that was awesome. And so we had a really amazing meal on Friday night.
We did. Oh, we also got, did you mention that we got the curried cauliflower?
Right. So the curried cauliflower bites that were in my taco are also available as a standalone appetizer.
Yeah.
So we got some of those as well. So even though Christine did not get to have any of my tacos, she did get to try the curried cauliflower.
Which was really good. Yeah.
So good.
So it was cauliflower florets coated in this curry seasoned batter. And then they served it with this like sweet chili. It was almost like a chili duck sauce kind of thing.
Yeah.
Spicy and sweet at the same time. It was really good.
Yep. Super good. So beautiful meal. And it's funny because we had dinner kind of early that night. It was maybe only 5 o'clock by the time we finished dinner.
5 or 5:30, something like that.
Yeah. And so we finish our meal and Christine just knocks out dead asleep almost immediately thereafter.
I did. It was so weird. And then I woke up at like, I don't know, 10:30, 11 o'clock, and I'm like wide awake because I'm like, okay, that was weird. I fell asleep at 5:30 p.m.
Yeah, like I was reading and doing my German lessons and all of this stuff, and all of a sudden I look over and Christine is just out.
Yeah, I don't know. It must have been the food. Knocked me out.
I guess, but it was impressive. So, and that was okay because we did have an early morning on Saturday.
Yeah, we had a 6:30 a.m. load-in time.
We did.
For the VegFest, so.
And honestly, I'm really glad we did.
It was nice. It was quiet. There was nobody there.
Yeah.
You know?
And we found people right as we got into the convention center, which we actually had a tiny bit of trouble finding.
The loading dock area, was a little tricky to find.
Yeah. Our Waze guy was not good at getting us to
he didn't know.
Yeah, Waze guy was confused. But so we finally got to the loading dock area and it was absolutely wonderful. Almost immediately. So we unload the car and put all of our stuff out onto the loading dock. And we're starting to cart our bins of stuff into the convention center. And of course, our booth was about as far away from the loading dock as you could get.
It was completely the opposite side of the convention center.
Yeah.
And we could not fit a dolly into our car. So I'm like, there's got to be a dolly here.
Right. So we're carrying these big heavy bins one at a time and making trips back and forth. And thankfully, on the way back from, I think, my second or third trip, I ran into a volunteer and I asked, is there any chance you have a dolly or two around? And she was just like, absolutely. Let me go track those down and we'll come find you. And so 2 amazing volunteers came to the loading dock where we had put all of our stuff. And with their 2 dollies, we got everything on the dollies and to our booth in one trip.
They helped us wheel it.
It was incredible.
To our booth. That was really nice.
It was just incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So grateful for that because otherwise, oh my gosh, the number of trips we would have had to take back and forth from the car to the booth would have just been crazy.
Yeah.
So that was really phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I really liked having the early load-in time because I like to take my time with setup.
Oh, it was nice. I mean, the doors didn't open until 10, so we had plenty of time for setup. Yeah.
Right. So like we get everything in, I go park the car, I come back. Christine has kind of put the tables in the configuration we're going to use. And then seriously, I took a good hour and a half to set everything up, but it was so chill.
Yeah, because you weren't pressed for time.
Not at all. It was
nice.
Amazing. Yes.
It was
like the first time in the history of us setting up for a VegFest that I didn't feel stressed.
Like rushed.
By setup.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah. And
it was great.
Let me tell you, it was really well air conditioned in this convention center.
Yes. And so
that was nice.
We were thinking that day of our friends in Syracuse, particularly the wonderful folks at Fat Cat Baking who were vending at Syracuse's Pride Fest.
Yeah. Outside.
In 95 degree heat.
It was really hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was actually chilly most of the day.
Sam's like, I should have brought a hoodie.
Yeah, but I didn't because I was expecting it to be incredibly hot. So, so this was also the first time that we ended a Veg Fest without being completely just like sweaty and gross and exhausted
from like from loading out and
from
all that.
heat. Yeah, it was really fabulous.
Yeah. But we're going to tell you everything we found at VegFest, what we tried, who we met, all that jazz.
In a little bit.
Yes. I did want to remind you to not forget our interview with the guys from How I Vegan podcast, Matthew and Wes. That'll be released this coming Thursday, June 27th. So please check out their podcast, How I Vegan podcast. Subscribe to it and listen to our interview. Let us know what you think. We don't have a recipe this week because of going to VegFest and all that jazz.
Yep.
We'll probably pick that back up next week.
I'm sure we will.
Yeah. And our noteworthy section this week is, of course,
the Cleveland VegFest.
Cleveland VegFest.
So we already got a gist of kind of the setup process and kind of the general atmosphere of the fest. And I have to say, this fest wound up being a little unusual for us. And here's why.
In what way?
We didn't eat.
We didn't eat a lot. We did eat. It's not like we didn't eat at all, but it was so busy.
Barely.
We barely ate. We barely got a chance to try any of the hot food vendors and all that jazz.
We didn't.
There were food trucks.
Try any of the food trucks.
We didn't get a chance to try any of it because it was just so busy all day long.
Well, I mean, we were kind of dumb. We've done enough VegFests to know that as a vendor, if you want to eat, if you want to sample some of the food from the vendors, you need to do it really early in the day.
Yeah, right when they're serving, the first time that they're open.
Right. So for example, the fest opened for VIPs who had pre-bought tickets at 10 a.m.
Right.
And so I should have ducked out of the booth and gone to get us some food right away at 10 o'clock.
You really should have, especially since we were told by one of the organizers that they had sold 350 of those VIP early entry tickets.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
At $20 a pop.
Mm-hmm.
So, if that gives you any indication as to how many people were going to be there all day, if 350 people were willing to pay $20 to get into a free event just to get there an hour early.
Yep.
Because those people have been to the Cleveland VegFest before.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
So, a couple of times we would break off and go, oh, let's try and find something to eat. And the one time I went specifically to try and find us lunch or something.
Yeah.
The lines were so long at any vendor serving hot food.
Yeah.
It was impossible.
Oh, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Because Christine at one point left to look for food.
Yeah.
And then she came back looking a little bit
perplexed.
Perplexed is a good word. You looked a little perplexed and you came back and you were empty-handed and she was just like, I was going to be standing in line for a half an hour. I couldn't leave you that long.
I couldn't do it. Because I was afraid of leaving Sam at the booth all by herself, I mean, not that she can't be left alone, but it was very busy. And, and I didn't want her to have to juggle,
Yeah.
All the people coming up to our booth.
Well, and that makes perfect sense. And I thank you for that. But a little later, when we had kind of a lull in the action, I also went out to look for food. And it was really overwhelming.
Yeah.
I mean, when I got to the other side of the convention center where all the food was, I couldn't tell which line was going to which vendor.
Right.
There were so many people.
There's so many people. You can just see, okay, this is a line, but I don't even know which line. I can tell you that if you're ever in Cleveland, Squash the Beef, which is a 100% vegan restaurant, and we have had their food. We had their food at the Pittsburgh VegFest a couple of years ago.
Yes, we did.
Fantastic. All house-made proteins and stuff like that. Really good.
Wonderful.
Really good stuff. It's burgers and, it's, I guess I would say junk food, but
it's comfort food.
But comfort food with a kind of like a soul food twist.
Yep.
Really good stuff. They had I swear, 100-foot line from the moment the doors open till the moment we were tearing down.
And rightfully so.
Yeah. They looked exhausted.
Oh my gosh.
By the end of the day.
Yes. Yes. One of the owners happened to walk by our booth right towards the end of the fest, like maybe within the last 45 minutes.
Yeah, he looked like he was dragging.
Event. Oh my gosh, he did. He just looked exhausted.
They had a great day.
They did.
Yeah, I think all the vendors, including us, we had a pretty good day too.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, so many people So many people. So what kind of food did we manage to get our hands on? Let's talk about that.
Well, honestly, what we managed to get our hands on primarily were baked goods.
Yeah, we were lucky enough to be right across the way from a couple of really awesome bakers.
Yeah, we were very close to a number of bakers. And so we kind of focused our attention on that because they were easy to track down. And since at the Pittsburgh Veg Fair, I learned go to the bakers early because they will sell out.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, these people were prepared. The amount of baked goods that I saw these people bringing in, it was overwhelming.
It was crazy.
Holy cow. I never saw so many baked goods. It was amazing. I can't even imagine how long they've been working to prepare for it.
Right.
You know?
Yep. And so the first baker we visited was Baked AF.
Yeah. Cute name.
Cute name.
Really cute name.
Yes. Now, Baked AF is owned by Amira Fahmy, who is both the owner and the baker. And let me tell you, Amira knows what she's doing.
Oh, she does. This was her first fest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You would never have known it.
You wouldn't.
Her displays were beautifully arranged.
Yep.
Every one of her items was packaged beautifully. I mean, you would never know this was her first time around.
Yeah, it was just incredible.
Yeah.
And so I went to look at her stuff and immediately picked up a few things. My favorite thing that I got so far, because we haven't tried everything.
We still have a couple of things. Yeah.
Right. But my favorite thing that I got from Baked AF so far is the strawberry lemonade mini loaf.
Oh, I have to try that.
You really do.
I gave mine to a homeless man.
Yes, you did. But we still have one left.
We do have one left. Yeah.
We still have one left.
Yeah.
And so what this was basically like a lemon pound cake almost, or a lemon sponge cake.
That's what it looks
but
like.
that also has like hits of strawberry jam throughout.
Okay.
It's incredible. It's just incredible.
Yeah, they look really good.
Yeah. And the thing is, I've said this before, lemon is one of my favorite flavors in baking. And I believe that if you're going to put lemon in a cake or a cookie, it needs to punch you in the face.
Yeah, the first thing I tried from Baked AF was a lemon sandwich cookie that they had. And she said people who love lemon love this cookie. And I'm like, okay, we need a couple of those. And I was hungry for breakfast.
Yeah.
And so I ate my cookie right away.
Yep.
Oh my God, she wasn't lying. So super lemony.
Yeah.
But super balanced. The sweet and the little salt and the lemon. It was like perfectly balanced. It was a great cookie.
Yeah. It really, really was.
Yeah. And soft. Love it. I love a soft cookie.
And because the cookie that Christine had, it was a lemon oatmeal sandwich cookie.
Yeah.
So it was 2 lemon oatmeal cookies, but with some buttercream in the center, like a vanilla buttercream. And I've said this before too.
And you'll say it again.
I will. I often have trouble with buttercream.
It's the wrong kind of sweet.
It tends to be sickly sweet.
Yeah.
Like almost saccharine sweet.
It can be, but we've had some really good luck with buttercream.
Well, especially this past weekend.
Yeah.
Gosh. So the buttercream was absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
It was smooth. It was creamy. It was not sickly sweet.
And it wasn't a ton of it. There
No.
was just enough.
Just enough
Yeah.
to like give something a little extra
Yeah.
to those cookies. And so just absolutely fantastic. Now, the other treat that we got from Baked AF was one of her sesame seed Rice Krispie treats.
Yeah, she was calling them Rice Krispie treats for adults.
Yes. And we haven't tried that yet.
We haven't.
We are very much looking forward to that. I imagine we'll probably crack that open tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, most likely.
Yeah.
So just was absolutely fantastic.
Really good. And then right next to Amira and Baked AF was Toys Caribbean Baking Company. Oh my God. I think I'm going to be saying oh my God a lot about some
Probably.
of these baked goods. But Toy and her fellow worker there at the booth, we had a blast with them, first of all. They were really fun.
They were.
And they came all the way from, I believe, Michigan, and they do catering and stuff too. So yeah, Toys Caribbean Baking Company. And we got, I bought a couple of donuts, and one we've tried,
Yes.
which was the chocolate orange. And this is a filled donut. And I don't think I've had a filled donut since going vegan.
The only one that I've had was the blackberry apple that I had in London.
Yeah. So I wasn't there, so I didn't try that.
You
This
did not.
donut is fantastic.
This was kind of ridiculous. We just ate it, actually, not too long ago. We shared it as a dessert after dinner tonight. And really, I'm a little bit at a loss for words. So this is a dark chocolate orange donut. So you've got a either plain or vanilla. I couldn't quite tell.
I think it's a vanilla donut.
Actual donut filled with a chocolate orange cream and then topped with a chocolate orange ganache.
So good.
The flavor was just insane.
It was, like Sam likes to say, punch you in your face orange.
Punch you in the face orange.
Yeah.
Absolutely
and
gorgeous.
Then the chocolate kind of tempers that sharpness of the orange. It was very well done.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, biting into it, I kind of expected it to, like, overdo the chocolate, that I was going to have to be hunting for the orange.
Right.
But the fact that the orange was the lead-off hitter and then the chocolate followed it was really beautiful.
Yeah, because that's hard to do. Chocolate will overtake
Oh, it will.
flavors.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of times when people, say it's chocolate this or chocolate that, sometimes all you can taste is the chocolate with a hint of whatever other flavor.
Right.
But no, this was punch you in the face orange.
It was absolutely gorgeous.
Really
both
good.
in terms of flavor and texture. It was just phenomenal. And the other donut we have not tried yet. I'm thinking we should probably share that for breakfast tomorrow.
Yeah, maybe.
It's a mango donut.
Yeah.
With a strawberry frosting.
Yeah. Full disclosure, I took one bite of that chocolate orange donut in the middle of the night last night. I woke up and for some reason that donut popped into my head. I'm like, ooh, that donut is in the kitchen. And I just took it out of its little package and took one bite and then put it back and went back to bed.
And I got up this morning and I'm getting ready to go to work and I see the chocolate orange donut sitting in its container on the counter with a big bite out of it. And I'm like, okay.
That's odd.
Yeah, that's unusual, but okay. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so just huge props to Toys Caribbean Baking.
Yeah.
The donuts are just out of this world.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
They know what they're doing.
Amazing.
Yeah. Really good.
And speaking of another baker who knows what they're doing, let's talk about one of my personal favorites, Bitchy Vegan Homo.
Oh, okay.
So I made my way over to Bitchy Vegan Homo almost as soon as the fest opened at 10 o'clock because at Pittsburgh Veg Fair, when I got to their booth, they had almost sold out.
Yeah.
And there
you sold out quick.
There weren't many options left. And
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure that I got to try some of the stuff that we haven't tried before. And so we managed to do exactly that.
Yeah.
So we got a couple of their carrot cake scones.
I haven't tried that yet. You had one, right?
I did. I ate that for breakfast
Right.
on the day of Fest. And it was amazing.
Yeah, you were raving about it.
I really was. Texturally fantastic, wonderfully spicy, really lovely carrot flavor, nice walnut texture in there as well. Just wonderful.
Yeah, it sounds like a perfect breakfast kind of thing.
Yeah. And then on Saturday night, we had for dessert after dinner, Bitchy Vegan Homo's mango berry cupcakes.
They were so cute. They make these tiny little cupcakes, right?
They're like 2-bite cupcakes.
Yeah, they're mini cupcakes. Mm-hmm. And his buttercream, we're just going to go raving about buttercream again, but the buttercream was all these tropical flavors, right?
Yeah. Mostly berry.
So good.
Yeah. Really, really wonderful. And again, the cupcake itself just had a really nice, bright mango flavor, and it was complemented really, really well by the buttercream. Absolutely fantastic.
I love those little cupcakes.
Yeah, I do too. So we got the cupcakes and we got 2 scones. And then I also finally, because I'd been kind of thinking about it since Pittsburgh Veg Fair, I finally got a Bitchy Vegan Homo t-shirt.
That's right. Sam's like, I'm going to get that t-shirt. I'm like, you go and get yourself a Bitchy Homo t-shirt.
Because I just love it. The front of the shirt is this beautiful piece of rainbow cake.
Yeah.
And it says, nothing milked, nothing murdered.
Yeah.
And on the back, it says bitchy vegan homo. And I'm like, I love this so much. Like, it just makes me smile.
It's a cute shirt.
It's really great.
Yeah, it's great. And the messaging's great.
Yeah. Absolutely fantastic.
We love them.
We do indeed. And finally, our last baker from whom we got some lovely baked goods was another vegan cookie.
Another vegan cookie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, another vegan cookie, we got some absolutely wonderful, wonderful things. We got some pretzel rolls.
Oh, these were really unique. When they were loading in, they had a veritable plethora of cases filled with things. And I saw those pretzel rolls and thought that they were like
cinnamon rolls
or sweet rolls of some kind. But they look like a cinnamon roll without the frosting.
Right.
But they're pretzel dough.
Soft pretzel dough.
They were really unique and so good.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, and really just this kind of flavor surprise because the shape does not tell you pretzel, right? It's not saying pretzel.
No, not at all.
But you bite into it and you're like, oh yeah, that's pretzel all the way.
Yeah,
you know?
It was wonderful. We actually ate them for breakfast on Sunday morning.
We did.
And yeah, they were just great. Like I kind of wanted like a little bit of something, like I wanted mustard to dip them in.
Yeah, like an agave mustard or a maple mustard.
Yeah,
or,
something like that with just a hint of sweet.
Yeah.
Like would have been phenomenal, but these were just really good.
They were good.
Incredible texture.
All on their own, they were good.
Yep. Nice hit of salt. They were really
moist.
Delightful.
They were moist.
Really moist. Yeah.
You know, because you think pretzel, you think dry, right?
But these weren't.
But
not
no,
at all.
It was like a roll, almost like a dinner roll, almost like a. What are those ones that the Pillsbury makes that they like fall apart?
Oh, yeah.
Like the grands or whatever?
Yeah.
Because they're rolled like that in a spiral, almost like that. Very moist, very pretzel-y.
Yeah.
Really unique.
And they were incredibly fresh. The baker actually told me that she had gotten up at 1:30 in the morning
I believe
to
it.
make the pretzel rolls.
Yeah.
And so just had to try them, and they were absolutely spectacular. We also got one of their chai latte cookies, which we shared this afternoon.
Very good.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was kind of like snickerdoodle meets chai spice.
It was.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, it was like a frosted snickerdoodle, but instead of just being cinnamon, you got cinnamon, cardamom, vanilla, clove.
Yeah.
You know, just it was really fantastic.
Yeah, really cool combination of flavors.
Great combination of flavors.
Yeah.
And then there was also a bit of a chai latte, almost glaze.
Yeah, just a little thin icing on top. Soft cookie.
Yep.
Really good.
Yeah, beautiful texture,
Yeah.
great flavor. Absolutely loved it. And they also had slices of bikini bread.
Yeah, bikini bread.
And they're spelling that BACCHINI
yeah, so why is it bikini and not zucchini?
because it's a combination of banana and zucchini.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it now. I was wondering why they called it that.
So it's both banana and zucchini. And this particular bikini bread also had chocolate chips in it.
I haven't tried that.
You have not. I did try my half
Yeah.
of that slice for lunch today, and it is wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. It's just packed with flavor. You can taste both the banana and the zucchini, which to me is kind of tremendous because you would think that the banana would just completely overpower
Yeah.
the zucchini, but it doesn't. You can clearly taste both. And of course, the chocolate chips are always a delightful addition. So really, really wonderful.
And they're apparently from Franklin County, Ohio.
Okay.
They're a cottage bakery, which I'm sure a lot of the bakers at VegFest are.
yeah.
You know, they don't have, a lot of them don't have like
Right.
brick and mortar bakeries.
Exactly. Yeah, but just really amazing stuff. So that brings us to the end of the baked goods.
That was a lot of baked goods.
Yes, and we have not tried everything. We still have plenty of things like sitting on the kitchen counter
Yeah.
that we haven't made our way through yet. Now, at one point, because after we had our little baked good breakfast on Saturday morning at, around 10 o'clock, by the time it's getting to be like 1:30 or 2, we're starting to get hungry. And so Christine ducked out again and went to look for food. And she did come back with some hummus and flatbread and some diwalis from Aladdin's Eatery.
Yes, obviously Mediterranean. I believe they're a Lebanese restaurant in Cleveland, a long-standing Lebanese restaurant. Apparently, they've been in business for over 30 years. Mm-hmm. They are not a solely vegan restaurant.
Right.
But being that it's Mediterranean food, a lot of what they serve is vegan-friendly. And this hummus was fantastic.
Yeah, this was some really amazing hummus. Like, really...
The real deal.
It was very sesame forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this, wasn't a roasted red pepper or a garlic or a lemon or anything like that. It was hummus, I think, in its purest form.
It was delicious.
It was.
Yeah. And there's like so much tahini in it that it almost, when I took a first bite, it almost read peanut buttery.
Yeah, a little bit.
Mm-hmm. But so super smooth. You know how when you go to like a Mediterranean restaurant and they give you that incredible hummus?
Yes.
That's what this was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It certainly was.
So it was at least some non-sweet food.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then you also had the diwalis.
They were very good. Diwali apparently is the Lebanese version of a dolmas, which is a stuffed grape leaf with rice and vegetable. Mm-hmm. Very good.
Nice.
Yeah.
I didn't try the diwalis. I'm not the biggest fan of grape leaves.
Yeah, I love them.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, just not my thing. So I just decided, you know what? We had come to the conclusion that instead of attempting to get food from one of the hot vendors at VegFest, that we would just wait and DoorDash once we got back to our hotel.
Yeah. It was just too many people.
Yeah. Really were.
And, good. Let the people who are at VegFest stand in line and get their food.
Yeah.
We had vending to do.
We did have vending to do.
Yeah.
And so the last thing that we picked up before we headed out was I got some chocolate from Sweet Designs Chocolatier. And we got a 4-pack of their mini peanut butter cups. We've not tried this yet. I'm wondering if
cute.
We should save them for our cup off.
No, because they're not like a mass-produced
Okay,
thing.
Fine.
People can't get their hands on them. I wouldn't want people to feel bad.
That's true. It was just a thought. And then I also got some of their...
We'll report back, about how good they are.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But yeah.
And then I also got some of their salted almond chocolate bark.
Yeah, I tried a little piece of that this morning.
Really good.
It is really good.
70% dark chocolate, no dairy, obviously, no added sugar, just chocolate, almonds, and a bit of salt.
Yeah, with whole almonds.
Yeah. Right. Not little pieces, nice whole almonds. Yeah. And it really is fantastic.
Yeah. We also got from apparently what is a Cleveland staple from Pizza Gel Pizza Bagels. Mm-hmm. I got a 3-pack of frozen pizza bagels.
Yes.
All vegan. And we had those for lunch when we got home from the festivals. Do you want to talk about some of the people we met?
Sure, we can. Absolutely. But you've got the list of people.
I do. So let's talk about some of the fine people that came to our booth. Oh, first of all, Volunteer Julie. Thank you. Thank you so much for bringing dollies. She brought a dolly afterwards, which she didn't have to. Helped us out because I'm like, oh gosh, now we're going to have to walk all this stuff. All the way. Teardown is sometimes a struggle.
But not this time. Let me tell you, this was the smoothest teardown we have ever had. We got everything packed up pretty much in record time.
I think we were out of there in like a half an hour.
Well, the thing was, we got everything torn down. I went and got the car, and they had people actually pulling in to another interior space of the convention center.
Yeah.
So that we could just roll our dollies right up to our cars.
Yeah.
Load up, and off we went.
And drive away.
So
very
we had
convenient.
Broken down, gotten everything loaded in the car, and we're actually out of the convention center in less than an hour.
Yeah. It was amazing.
It was just incredible.
Yeah. the team there that works at Huntington Convention Center,
Oh my God.
fantastic.
Yeah.
The bathrooms were sparkling clean throughout the entire event.
Yep.
There was constantly staff members walking around cleaning. The garbage situation was perfect. They had recycle bins. They were monitored and emptied when they needed to be.
Yep.
It was fantastic. They have
Rock
a really,
stars.
really great crew there.
Yeah.
You
The
know?
staff was absolutely phenomenal.
And-
5 stars all the way around.
Yeah, and every one of them pleasant, you know?
Yep. Very nice people.
Yeah, seemed to be enjoying their work, which is great. So here's a couple of people that we met. We met yoga teacher and vegan chef who also gardens, HP.
Yes, we did.
I'm like, how do you find time to do all that, HP? She's like, I don't know. We met Victoria. Victoria, thank you for coming to our booth. Jackie, Carolyn, Carrie, Jane, Lauren, Jamie. Who else did we meet? Jennifer, Deb. Hey, Deb, thanks for coming to the booth. Christine, Caden, Juanita, Denise, Amy, Brooklyn, Bridget, and Kim. And those are just some of the people that signed our mailing list.
Yeah.
There were tons of other people that came up. We had fantastic conversations with
Yes,
people.
we did.
It was a really good time.
It was a great day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and of course, you know, we love people coming by just to have conversations. It was really great to see the number of people who were picking up the vegan reading material that we provide from Vegan Outreach. It was wonderful to have people asking us questions about veganism, taking a picture of the sign that said Compassion and Cucumbers Vegan Podcast, you know.
Yeah,
it
so
was-
that they could remember to look us up.
Yeah.
It was really great.
That was super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was amazing.
Yeah, really great. And it's always fantastic at events like this because they are free events. You will get some people that are not vegan
You'll get a lot of people who aren't.
who are just curious about what is a Veg Fest all about,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it's a free thing. It's a 90-degree day. It's an air-conditioned space
Yeah.
where you can get food and sweets and baked goods and beverages.
That's right.
And,
What's
and-
not to like?
Yeah, and walk around and shop. It's a perfect way to spend your afternoon. So we had some really cool conversations with some, vegan curious people,
Yeah, we did.
just fantastic.
Absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
So we just want to say thank you to the entire team at the Huntington Convention Center and,
Yeah.
of course, to the organizers of the Cleveland VegFest. We had a wonderful time from start to finish, and we are really looking forward to coming back next year.
Yeah. Coming back strong. I'm telling you, you'd never know that they'd been gone since 2019.
No.
And that this was a whole new crew of people. So this was their first time. They did a great job.
Yeah. Beautifully organized.
Really great job. That brings us to our main topic. This week's main topic, we're going to be reviewing Christspiracy.
Is there any threat or danger making a film like this?
Yeah, you just wait and see. You just wait and see. They will stop at nothing to keep this truth from getting to them.
Is there a spiritual way to kill an animal? I'll put it this way. How would Jesus kill an animal?
We were lucky enough to receive an invitation to a screening of Christspiracy by Sailesh Rao and the team at the Climate Healers.
Yes.
And after the screening, there was a talk back with the filmmakers Kip Anderson and Kameron Waters,
Yes, indeed.
which was very interesting.
very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully, some of you have seen the film. If not, they are working on a digital release. They're hoping by the end of the year to have a digital release that everybody can see through their website. I recommend logging on to Christspiracy.com and, signing up to get emails and updates
Yeah.
so that you know when that happens.
For sure.
But let's just talk a little bit about what we think of the film. We don't want to ruin the film for anybody, but
No, we don't.
Yeah.
But for those of you who don't know or haven't been exposed to the idea of Christspiracy, so this is kind of a continuation of the series of films that Kip Anderson and Keegan Kuhn and Kameron Waters have been making over the past several years. You would probably know their documentaries, What the Health, Cowspiracy, and Seaspiracy. Mm-hmm. And What the Health really looked at the health impacts of our food system.
Right.
And Cowspiracy really looked at the animal welfare side of things. And Christspiracy really looks at the ethics of the way that we eat.
Yes.
And essentially, it seeks to answer the question, is there a spiritual way to kill an animal?
Right. They're taking the question, what would Jesus do?
Yeah.
And super expanding on it. They traveled all over the world in the making of this film.
Yes. They went to Rome, to Jerusalem, to Oxford, to India, just trip after trip after trip for 5 years, researching and filming this particular project. And I have to say, I've loved all of their documentaries. I have a really deep soft spot for What the Health and for Cowspiracy and Seaspiracy.
Right.
I thoroughly have enjoyed all of them.
Yeah, because they were there at the beginning of our vegan journey.
They were, very much so. And I have to say, for me, Christspiracy was kind of mind-blowing.
A lot of really revelatory information.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
How much of this information are we going to tell people? Because like I said, I don't want to spoil the movie for people.
I don't want to either. For me, I think the greatest aspect of this film was really going back and looking at text in terms of specific biblical passages and looking at the ancient translations. Because we all know that the Bible as it exists now was the creation of a committee of priests.
Of course.
Who decided what was going to be put forward as doctrine.
Sure. Sure. These men wanted to make sure that they had a little bit of control over what people believed and what people didn't believe.
Correct.
Right?
Yes, absolutely. And so going back to an event, a documented event like the cleansing of the temple, for example, when Jesus expels the merchants and the money changers as being corrupt and their actions being antithetical to the will of God, all of that. But going back and seeing that the archaic translation for the word that has been taken to mean thieves, because Jesus referred to the temple as a den of thieves.
Yes.
But that the actual translation of the word thieves meant violent ones.
Right.
Or murderers.
Yes. And they went to this temple where this took place and actually walked through the channels where the blood of animals that were being sacrificed in this temple would have flowed. Hundreds and hundreds of gallons of blood.
Yes. And so it's reasonable, given that translation, to think that the action that Jesus Christ was objecting to was not the selling or the changing of money.
Right.
It was the sacrifice of animals.
It was the sacrifice of animals that he was objecting to. Yes.
Yes.
And that's why he let all the animals free, and that's what led to his end.
Crucifixion.
His crucifixion, yes.
Yes, absolutely. And so that to me was just absolutely mind-blowing, as was kind of, again, retranslations, reinterpretations of things that we take for granted. Now, I was raised Catholic, and so, of course, have, heard these stories many, many times. But, during the Last Supper, Jesus saying to his disciples, I have no desire to eat meat with you this Passover.
Yeah.
And saying, this bread is my lamb, meaning I have no need to eat animals.
Yeah.
I will eat this bread instead.
Right.
And informing his disciples, you have no need to eat flesh.
Right.
Just kind of, for me, blows the whole thing wide open. Because if you think about it, honestly, of course, this person, this great prophet, would have been, at the very least, vegetarian.
Vegetarian. Yeah, of course. Yeah, that kind of blew my mind too, because also when I was young, my family was Catholic, being Italian. Sam's Irish. These are two cultures that are heavy into the Catholicism.
Indeed.
When you go to get communion and the priest says, this is my body and the wine is Jesus's blood, right? Blood of Christ, body of Christ.
Yes.
But when Jesus says, eat this bread, it is my flesh. He doesn't mean it's his own flesh. He means you're eating bread instead of flesh.
Yes. And consuming wine instead of blood.
Yes.
Yeah. So
that was like mind-blowing.
Just mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And then learning that John the Baptist, who is perhaps the best known of Jesus's disciples for being interested in animal welfare, he and Jesus were cousins. Their family, it is documented, were vegetarians. And that the particular sect of Christianity of which Jesus Christ was the leader, the Nazarenes, they did not eat meat.
Right. Yeah. They, at one point, talk about not being able to find Nazareth on a map of the time.
Yeah.
Even though you often hear
Jesus of Nazareth.
Jesus of Nazareth. It was Jesus of the Nazarene. And like Sam said, the Nazarene were a sect of people who did not consume animals.
Yes. And after the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, the Nazarenes were killed off.
Yeah.
And so there were none remaining to bring those parts of Scripture forward, or to make sure that the actual word of Jesus Christ moved forward.
Right.
Instead, we get the burning of the books and the Council of Nicaea.
Yeah.
And that group of people decides to focus on the passage that says, that God has given dominion over the earth and all of its inhabitants to humans.
Yeah, and people have argued the meaning of dominion in that sense.
Well, again,
for millennia.
Right. And if we're going back to archaic translation, the word that has been translated as dominion actually means stewardship. Stewardship,
yes. That we are put here to care. If you're a Christian,
right? These
teachings actually mean that we're put here to care for all the other creatures of the earth.
That's right.
Yes.
To care for the animals, to care for the environment, and to care for each other.
Yeah.
Which, of course, why would a benevolent deity create all of these beautiful creatures and then prefer one over all of the others to the extent that they would then say, oh yeah, I just made all of these other beings for you to kill and eat?
Yeah.
I don't quite buy it.
Yeah. Yeah. So the interesting thing to me, what was taking place in that temple, was the fact that people with the power were using animal sacrifice as a means to kill animals to provide food for people.
Yes.
But they did it in the name of animal sacrificing to God.
Right.
So that people didn't feel bad about the horrific things that were happening in this temple.
Right.
It was apparently just a bloody scene.
Yes.
Most of the time.
Right. And so what Jesus was really doing during the cleansing that day was saying, no, this is not the way.
Yeah.
These sacrifices are not pleasing to God. These are God's creatures.
Right.
They should not be sacrificed in his name. So
it's the age-old tale of money talks.
Indeed.
Like this was all being done to provide money to the leaders of the church and the leaders of the governments.
Yes.
It's the same old story, right?
It really is.
It's a tale as old as time. It's still happening today. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. And so I don't think we want to give too much else away.
I don't. I really don't. I do want to say, I think everybody should see this film, not just vegans.
Oh, no.
This is not a vegan film.
Not really, no.
No. And not just people who are religious.
Right.
Like, I don't really consider myself a Christian. I consider myself a spiritual person.
Yes.
But I think that everybody should see this film, regardless of your religious affiliation, whether you're atheist or
Absolutely.
whatever you are. It's mind-blowing just on a historical level.
Yeah. It brings up some really incredible philosophical questions.
Yeah.
And there are some really tremendous experts who get involved in the research throughout. There's also a wonderful section of the film that takes a look at the sacrificing of cows in India, where the cow is sacred. Mm-hmm. But at a very specific festival each year, thousands of cows are slaughtered.
Right.
In the name of God.
Right. Yeah. They also look at the red heifer situation.
Yes.
And they dive into that a little bit. And it's just amazing. And they do have a big campaign to help stop animal sacrifice around the world. So log on to Christspiracy.com and put in your information so that you can get updates on how you can help that fight if you are against animal sacrifice.
Yes. So, but there is just an incredible wealth of information. I mean, as we were watching the movie, I was writing down names, book titles, and all of this.
What were some of the names of some of the people that they interviewed?
My favorite of the bunch, I have to admit, was Andrew Lindsay. Andrew Lindsay is a priest in the Church of England.
Yeah.
And is an animal rights theologist.
Right.
And has written a number of books about animal welfare, veganism and vegetarianism as it relates to Christianity.
Right.
So I'm actually reading one of his books right now called Creatures of the Same God. And it really looks at the idea that all of us inhabiting this earth, regardless of species, that we are all the creatures of God. And so, again, it raises the question, what God would prefer one of his or her creatures so far above the others,
right,
that everyone else was just made for the sacrifice,
right,
was just meant to be killed and eaten.
Right.
And it's a beautifully written book. It's absolutely amazing, incredibly articulate, brings up some things that I had never considered, but as soon as I read it, seemed obvious.
Really?
Yes. And I'm actually thinking about having this be one of the books that I kind of address in our upcoming Patreon series.
Yeah.
Which is going to be Storytime with Sam.
Yeah, Sam's going to be doing some audio book reading.
Yes.
For our patrons. So if you're interested in that, join our Patreon.
Yes. And so I think this book, Creatures of the Same God, may very well be one of those books, just because I think the philosophy behind it is really remarkable.
Yeah.
And as with Christine, I also do not consider myself to be Christian. I am a spiritual person and all of that good stuff. But just getting different perspectives on these kinds of issues is really fascinating to me.
I think this film gave you a really cool perspective on who Jesus was just as a man.
Yes.
What his day-to-day life must have been like.
Yep.
I think it really kind of brought him to life.
Yeah.
In that way,
Well, and yes, the film is called Christspiracy, but at the same time, it doesn't look only at Christianity.
No.
It does do a wonderful job of underlining the fact that the primary tenet of every major organized religion on the planet, so if we're talking about Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Hinduism, Buddhism, Taoism, you can even do the offshoots of Hinduism as, yogic practice, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
You can even go into paganism and Wicca.
Sure.
And the central tenet is to do no harm.
Right.
And to me, honestly, everything else is details.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
just how you look at it. Which stories entrance you, which stories resonate with you.
Sure.
And so I did think that the film did an incredible job of that, saying, regardless of your belief system, this is number one.
Yeah. It's the core belief system of
core
all
belief
organized
system.
religion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do unto others as you would have done. Do no harm.
Yeah. Ahimsa.
Love and respect others.
Yeah.
Non-violence. Yes, exactly. Ahimsa. Thank you.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was just tremendous.
Yeah. So I hope that everybody gets a chance and an opportunity to see this film, because it is pretty eye-opening. Mm-hmm. And I hope that they get their digital release together soon. Now, the reason it's not available on Netflix is because they were going to release on Netflix, but Netflix wanted them to edit certain portions out, and I'm not sure. They didn't say what those portions were.
No.
I'm not sure if it was because of some violent scenes of animal sacrifice, or if it was because they thought it was too controversial. You know, I'm really not sure what they wanted them to edit out. Bear in mind, there are some graphic scenes.
There are.
Not a ton. It's not a ton. It's not super difficult to watch, but there are scenes of animal violence and animal sacrifice, and some scenes that you might want to look away.
I know I did.
Yeah.
More than once.
Yeah.
But it really is a remarkable film, and I know I'm looking forward to the digital release because I really want to see it again.
Yeah, that's the thing. You do want to see it again, you know?
Because I feel like it's an incredible amount of information to take in.
It's a ton of information.
And
yeah.
so it's kind of like, I know I must have missed something.
Right.
Like as I'm scribbling things down,
Right.
I must have missed something, and I really would like to see it again.
Yeah. Yeah. So keep your eyes open for screenings like we saw. This was an online Zoom screening.
Yeah.
And some organizations are doing that. And like I said, they are working on their digital release. So hopefully that will come out soon.
I sure hope so.
Yeah. They did say in the meantime, if you have seen the film, to please go to Rotten Tomatoes and give them a rating and a review, because that helps. I guess that helps expedite the process for their digital release.
Expedite.
That helps expedite the process for their digital release.
You just invented a word.
Expedite.
Indeed.
So, I mean, I guess if we're, giving this film like a rating, 1 out of 5 or thumbs up or whatever, I would say 2 thumbs up in my book.
Oh, definitely.
I think it was really compelling.
Yep.
I thought that the work involved was obvious.
Oh my gosh.
It was,
yes.
Yeah, you can tell that this was a project that was very near and dear to them, and that they put a lot of work into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A very well done project, start to finish.
Yeah. So go see Christspiracy if you can. And that brings us to our assignment, Restaurant SOS.
This week, April Wilson nominated Dodah's Kitchen. Dodah's has 3 locations in the Baltimore area. They are at 3801 34th Street, Mount Rainier, Maryland, 1210 North Charles Street, Baltimore, Maryland, and 152 Smallwood Village Center, St. Charles, Maryland. Dodah's offers vegan soul food, and they also do wholesale and catering.
They do. And let's take a look at Dodah's menu.
Yes, let's.
Some good stuff on here.
Oh, my.
And their prices are really good.
They are very
really
reasonable.
Super good. This is definitely soul food.
No question.
Yeah. Their entrees, they have like a vegan barbecue rib, pepper steak, a fried fish in quotations, a curried chicken, drummies, which I'm guessing are like a vegan drumstick.
Yep.
They have a lasagna, chicken tenders, fried shrimp,
Yep.
air quote, a General Tso's cauliflower. That would be what Sam would be getting.
Probably.
They have a vegan crab cake and a spinach lasagna. They do a Sunday brunch. Come on.
How great.
Yeah, they do waffles and French toast. And what else do they do?
Chicken and waffles. They have a
yeah.
breakfast hoagie. They do vegan shrimp and grits. So all kinds of stuff. And like I said, just very much a soul food focus.
Cheesesteak.
Yeah, it looks pretty fabulous.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you're anywhere in the Baltimore, Maryland area, check out Dodah's Kitchen at one of their 3 locations. And don't forget to send us your favorite vegan restaurant so that we can shout them out and help them out, because this is a really tough time for small business owners right now.
It sure is.
Yeah. So tell us who your favorite vegan restaurants are and tell us why you love them. It's time for our favorite portion of the show.
Must be listener shout out time.
It's listener shout out.
Just want to give a shout out to all my fans watching. I love you guys. I love you.
This week's listener shout out goes to Lynn Okiek. Lynn listens to the show, follows along with our posts on Facebook, and often comments on our socials. Thank you so much for listening, Lynn.
Yeah, thanks for listening, Lynn. And send us your t-shirt size and address so that we can send you a Compassion and Cucumbers swag bag. You can either text us by using the link in our show notes. You can email us at compassionandcucumbers@gmail.com or DM us on Instagram or private message us on Facebook.
And for the rest of you out there, we are running low on listener shout outs again. So if you want a listener shout out, please text, email, or DM us. Let us know what you think of the show and tell us a little bit about yourself. And don't forget, a shout out enters you into our Meeson Chef Knife giveaway later this year.
It's time for our Vegan Org of the Week. What's this week's Vegan Org of the Week?
This week, we are celebrating animal liberation. Based in Australia, Animal Liberation's primary work revolves around conducting research on the various animal-related industries and activities in Australia and raising awareness on how they impact animals and the environment. They provide an animal cruelty hotline where people can report cases of abuse or mistreatment. They lobby all levels of government and various industries complicit in animal exploitation in an attempt to influence legislation and permanently improve the lives of all animals. They also spread awareness of the issues facing animals with the goal of influencing consumer behavior and the law via social media, media releases, a biannual magazine, education talks by their humane education officer at schools and universities, and various events and public meetings. For more information on their work, you can go to al.org.au.
Yeah, another fine vegan organization.
Indeed.
It's time to wrap this baby up. Don't forget to join the Agriculture Fairness Alliance's Vegan Voter Hub. We always put the link in the show notes, so click that link, join the Vegan Voter Hub. Subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast app and subscribe to our YouTube. Leave us a rating and a review if your app allows. And don't forget, you can text us now. So text us show ideas, recipes, cookbook recommendations, or anything you want to text us, just text us.
And with that, it's time to sign off. You have just listened to episode 145 of the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast, and there's nothing left to say but where cukes and compassion are always the fashion on the podcast.
Thanks, James.
Have a great week, everyone.
We'll talk to you next Tuesday.
We love you.
We do. Bye-bye.
The end.
If you'd like to support the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast, well, you can do that by hopping on over to our Patreon page and becoming a patron. We have all the recipes from our vegan kitchen series up there, and we'll be adding some patron-only episodes in the near future. So thank you for supporting us at whatever level that you choose, and thank you again for listening to Compassion and Cucumbers podcast.